Okay, I would say let's start. First and foremost, a very warm welcome from our Constellr team, and thank you so much, everyone, for participating in our first ever webinar and also listening to the hot topic Beyond the Visible, Transforming Agriculture with Satellite Thermal Data. Before I'm going to run you through our agenda for today, I just want to kindly inform you that you see, hopefully, on the navigation bar above, a button called Q&A. If you have questions or comments or anything in between, you can paste that in that chat room. And I also encourage you kindly, if you want to do that during the presentation and maybe indicate that with slides you want to refer to. All in all, the rule stands. Have a look, just put everything in you want. And before I'm going to go through the agenda, maybe quickly introduce myself. My name is Rosa Schmidt. I'm the Marketing Project Manager at Constellr. And we also have, of course, two main speakers for today. First, our head of product, Mathieu Thémant, who has already over 10 plus experience in the agriculture industry, and our Chief Commercial Officer, Tobias Menne, who has already worked for big companies such as Bayer and also has around 20 plus work experience under his belt in terms of agriculture industry. But long story short, let's have a look at today's agenda. First of all, we're going to start with the bird's eye perspective. So to give you a global idea and global context of agriculture, where the industry stands and what problems we are facing. Then we are going to go to land surface temperature and what we define it about, or what it's all about. Then we're going to give you a quick idea about our technology and how we are measuring temperature. After that, we're going to have a look at the literal beyond the visible, which means we're going to talk about the impact thermal red infrared sensing has, and also have a quick idea about the spatial resolution and the temporal resolution packed with a use case to put the theory we are talking about into practice. And afterwards, we also will have a look at our temperature product, Celesta, give you a quick introduction on our company, Constellr, and also a quick sneak peek into our early access program. But without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Mathieu with our first slide.
So welcome, everyone. Really happy to be here and to explain to you how our technology helps tackle the challenges in agriculture. But let me start with a bit of context. We all know that temperature and climate change has very dramatic impact on agriculture, with large discrepancies between the different geographies, which affects food security, but which also is increased by the rising global population. Temperature is a main factor here, and the changes in temperature and the overall increase in temperature, so as it was measured last year, being the last year, the more hotter year on record since the record started, is temperature is really a driving factor for crop growth, since it's acting as an engine that pulls the water from the soil to the atmosphere. Water is actually consumed very largely by agriculture, with 70% of the freshwater use being utilized in agriculture. And if nothing is done to optimize this water use, this is going to increase dramatically, with some other aspects related to water scarcity becoming more and more present. So there are many ways in which we can measure temperature. Usually, when we look at meteo data, we are talking mainly about air temperature, which is what was also measured in the records and what is said to be like the highest air temperature at a certain altitude since records started. But there are other ways to measure temperature, and in what concerns agriculture, the surface temperature is a very important factor. So the land surface temperature is actually the temperature of the very, very thin layer that covers the whole land surface. So it can be the temperature of the canopy, it can be the temperature of the soil, it can be the temperature of the water, but this is only the very thin layer. And this is that layer that we are able to measure by satellite. The main difference between this temperature and the air temperature is that it's a fixed, it's at the surface level, so it's always measured at the same place, and the value can be compared through time more easily than if it's in the water column, such as is the case for the air temperature. So our remote sensing technology is really focused on measuring that temperature. The remote sensing aspect and our space assets enable first to have a very large scaling monitoring capacity, which enables to detect stress very early at the field level due to the very fine temperature signature of the stress. It also enables to have a timely soil temperature monitoring, an accurate measurement of the temperature at different growth stage in agricultures, and all in all, it contributes to the continuous crop water use management. This remote sensing technology also is a measurement of a physical variables, which limits the importance of utilizing proxy to determine the effect it has on agriculture, which is also leading to saving of some computing resources and analytic resources that are often needed when we are using the visible and near infrared imagery that are commonly used in agriculture nowadays. Nevertheless, our technology is also combining this visible and near infrared capacity with the thermal imagery in order to be able to improve our products and to widen our scope, looking also at the vegetation indices and at the vegetation dynamics that the visible and near infrared bands enable. So what are the very specific aspects of our technology? First, our technology is geared towards delivering the highest accuracy possible. And this is tailored to the needs of agriculture. So when a plant is stressed, the first physiological response of a plant to stress is to close its stomata. The stomata are the little pores on the leaf surface. And by closing its stomata, it reduces the amount of water that is evapotranspirated from the plant to the atmosphere, which when it's open has a cooling effect, and when it's closed has a warming effect. And so our technology is really tailored to be able to capture this difference in temperature at the very early stage of stress when a plant is closing its stomata. This enables us to capture the impact of stress way before the stress is damaging the plants and the photosynthetic apparel is being destroyed or damaged. And this has a very dramatic impact on our capacity to address yield protecting measures to reduce the impact of the stress on the overall yield of a crop for any type of crop or vegetation. The second aspect of our technology is that it displays a very high spatial resolution that really corresponds to the managing scale at which the farmers are operating at the field level. Here on the image, you can see the existing thermal sensor starting from the American MODIS and then the Landsat, which are respectively at 100 meter and at 1,000 meter and 100 meter native resolution, and at our Constellr data, which is at 30 meter resolution, which is at a higher resolution, and that really corresponds to the 36 meter typical machinery reach when a farmer operates on the field. This is very important because it means that we are able to capture the small scale dynamics within the fields and supporting doing so the precision agriculture and really the tailored management of the field by the farmer and its monitoring. Moreover, this spatial resolution also enables to capture finer structure that the lower and medium resolutions don't capture. So the distance between two points that we are able to distinguish with our data is way smaller than that of the low and medium resolution, which enable to really also have an impact on the early detection of stresses that are often occurring at small scale within the parcel. And then one other aspect that is very crucial for agriculture is to be able to continuously monitor the growth of plants throughout the whole season. And we know that depending on the crops we are looking at, those different stages occur at different times, and the critical stages need to be really properly monitored in a continuous way for us to be able to address the yield problem, but also to inform about irrigation needs or to inform about planting conditions and other aspects. So our technology to achieve that aims at reaching a very high spatial temporal resolution, to have data very continuously in time, and also to cope with the cloud issues that can occur in some regions of the world. As compared to Landsat, from the arrival of our first satellites in about a year, we will be able to reach twice as many revisits than the current Landsat products, with a spatial resolution that is even increased. And this really helps us to monitor continuously the whole cropping systems globally. Here is one of example in which our technology has been leveraged. You are seeing here a time series of an almond crop in California from the 10th of March to the 14th of June last year. And we really see on the upper hand the thermal imagery, which is displaying different patterns through time, which we don't specifically see on the optical imagery that you see on the bottom. First of all, on the first image, you see these very large red rectangles that relates to higher temperature levels, which also relates to the Beresol image that we see on the lower optical imagery. As the vegetation grows, we see that there is a cooling effect that is increasing as the vegetation is covering more and more of the field. Besides that, we also see some structure in the thermal data, which inform us about local stress or local local differences in the hydric disponibility of water, which inform us on how to improve the water monitoring, but also the irrigation on almonds in California. With temperature, we really have a direct insight in that water monitoring, but also in the thermal behavior of the plant, which relates to the water consumption of the plant and the stress level of the plants. And this really reduces the need for very high analytics to provide to the farmer a solution that is tailored to its needs and that can also address the very crucial water aspects, both in perennial crops, such as is the case for almonds, but also in annual crops like maize, soybeans, or any types of crops. So this is one example of our use case, and this is also like the building block of another product that we are offering, which is an evapotranspiration product, which supports also further the irrigation needs and the irrigation information that we want to provide to the farmer. I will now give the floor to Tobias, who will introduce us to the Constellr product, which is our land surface temperature product, and then to our specification and commercial aspects.
Matt, thank you. Guys, warm welcome also from my side. So as Matt has shared already with all of you, we are bringing our Hive constellation up during next year. That is a very important milestone for us. And we are using the data which comes off the Hive constellation to really integrate it with a publicly available thermal data, to deliver our LST, our land surface temperature product portfolio. At the very core of this portfolio is our land surface temperature product with a spatial resolution of 30 meters and a very high accuracy of 3 to 1.5 Kelvin and a very high sensitivity. What is really important that our data set is really analytical, ready through our API, comes today at a weekly coverage. That weekly coverage is increasing next year to a bi-weekly coverage, so every 4 days. And at the beginning of 25, that is our plan, to an almost daily recurring data set. What you will see on the next slide is that we are even getting better here with more and more of the Hive data integrated into our land surface temperature product. I believe really critical is here that we are building our land surface temperature measurement of out of 4 thermal bands and over 10 near visible bands, so to have a very high sensitivity of less than 100 millikelvin and a very high accuracy of better than 1.5 Kelvin. Absolutely game-changing standards. I believe I can say here no one in the industry is currently matching, and we also don't see anyone matching. I will speak about this, what that means from a value perspective, really in a second. Yet we are also able fantastic, thank you, Rosa. We are also really able to zero in further, so beyond the 30-meter resolution, because some of our bands have a native resolution of 5 meters. So we are offering our land surface temperature product in various spatial resolutions from 5 or 10 meters to 30 meters, and then also more coarse spatial resolutions. And they all come with that superior sensitivity and accuracy, which is really what sets Constellr technologically really apart. Why is that important? Why is that land surface temperature product so different from what you see and what you will see in the market? That is because of our high sensitivity and accuracy. You can build time series with our data and really compare the absolute measurements we are generating from today to tomorrow, last year, or next week. And that makes it so powerful for applications in agriculture, which are building on time series and on change detection. To really be on time, for example, for stress or abiotic or biotic stress detection, it is absolutely essential that we have low latency times, and you can count here on us that you will have our data in your systems less than 12 hours after acquisition. And to really make sure that we are also really covering large areas and supply you with data with all the data you need every day, we have the capacity to generate around about 1 million square kilometers per satellite per day, and we are geared up and fully financed for 4 satellites. So just do the math. There will be a richness in data which will cover a multitude of applications in agriculture and also beyond agriculture. A few words about Constellr, so that you know who we are and why it deserves a closer look, really collaborating with us in the space. Our journey really started in 2016 when our founders team asked themselves where all the relevant data for a regenerative agricultural practice is going to come from. And they didn't find anything, and they understood that it's so essential to find and to generate data which is available on large areas, which is highly accurate, which is repeatable, and which has a quality grade that it qualifies for MMRV processes. So that's how the journey started. We then have invested a lot in the technology development really to make that happen. Spoke to NASA and shared our patents here and our approach. And then really for 2 weeks didn't hear anything. And admittedly, 2 weeks is a very short period of time when they phoned in back and said, guys at Constellr, what you're doing is absolutely mind-blowing. We want to have your technology on the International Space Station. So please come with your sensor. We're going to shoot it up between toilet paper and tomato soup and will then install it directly outside of the International Space Station. And that's exactly what you see here on the picture. Based on that was a tremendous success. I mean, we just wanted to generate a few data points 2 or 3 years ago, and we generated millions of pixels and pictures, which really proved the superior accuracy and sensitivity of our technology. And subsequently, we attracted a lot of financial engagement, which from top-notch investors from the space technology world, as well as from the agricultural world. We are today around about 80 to 100 people. And already today, we are serving thousands of government institutions, especially in Europe, with this data, as well as commercial customers across the Americas and in Europe. So we would love really to engage with you. First of all, to share more of our experience, where and for which specific use cases adding value to you and your enterprise Constellr can contribute to. And then secondly, introduce you to our early access program, because we will also want to give you as potential customers our assurance that our data will be available in your quality, in your resolution, for your area of interest, exactly when you need it from next year onwards, when our satellites go into space. So for that reason, we have set up an early access program which builds in and which offers the flexibility of a full assurance, where we are 100% committing to areas of interest, to pricing from our side, or on the other hand, where you are saying tentatively, this is our interest, and we are exactly reconfirming this. No matter for which option you decide, we are legally confirming exactly the tech specs Matt and I have been speaking about, so that you are 100% assured that the spatial, the temporal resolution, the superior sensitivity and accuracy, which is so essential for in thermal imaging, is exactly assured to match your specific use case. So I want really to encourage everyone here on the call, if you see that there is relevance in thermal data for your application, that you reach out so that we can share more insights into your specific use case, which experience we have generated already, as well as make a personalized individual offer, which is exactly meeting your needs. Rosa, back to you.
Thank you very much, guys, for your input. Great presentation. Maybe just the last few words from me before we're going to go into the Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can always contact Tobias or Matt, or in this case, also me and our sales development manager, Adam. You can always, and I will share that in the chat room as well, you can always book a meeting with him via the Calendly link, or just send me a mail about anything you want to know about Constellr. Before, as said, I'm going to grab the opportunity and let you all answer the questions. Just want to say we have a new branded website with a couple of more use cases and also plenty of more information you can have a look at, and also contact us about the EAP program. But long story short, let's have a look at the questions. Okay, so first one here is François Laurent. What is the maximum area covered for a given target at a given time? Matt, do you want to maybe answer?
Yes, sure. We are with our data, with the first satellite, we are able to, we have a revisit time of 4 days. And then we are combining that also with other data set using our unique algorithm to provide a capacity to monitor the whole globe. So there is no real maximum area. It really depends on the use case that you are looking after. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Maybe then the next question from Alexander Costa. Hi, thank you for the webinar. Is this coverage the same globally, or is this a minimum or maximum for certain latitudes?
I take that one as well.
Please, yeah.
So the specification on revisit time are established at the equator. When we go further from the equator, the revisit time is increased. So let's say at mid latitude, it's going to be a bit shorter revisit time than at the equator. So if we have 4 days at the equator, we might reach 3.5 days, 3 days at mid latitudes.
Perfect. So far, no other questions actually, which is a good thing, I guess. Is there anything else somebody maybe wants to add, or there is like a spontaneous question that popped up? You have any other input, Tobias or Matt, you want to share with the audience?
I see that there is another question. So what other parameters can or do you intend to measure? So at the moment, as we mentioned, we are measuring also evapotranspiration, which is a very important parameter when it comes to irrigation optimization. And we are also developing other products in the line of irrigation management, which will come, and I leave them as a surprise for now.
Perfect. Great. Just asking again, are there any other questions or anything you want to know?
Rosa, I believe there is another question. Have you compared the accuracy of the Constellr product with MODIS, Landsat, Sentinel, Planet, etc. based LST products? Matt.
So we did some comparison. Currently, Landsat imagery is have an accuracy of about 3 Kelvin. MODIS has an accuracy of about 1 to 2 Kelvin. And with Constellr, we are reaching an accuracy of 1.5 Kelvin. We cannot really compare with the Planet dataset since it's using a very different technology that doesn't measure the temperature at the very skin level, but that goes a bit deeper in the soil. So it's not really comparable. Yeah, so our technology is reaching really the highest accuracy that there is out there, also taking into account the other missions.
Rosa,
And then
you're
I see there is
classic. You're muted.
Thank you. Sorry, guys, I didn't see that you have to refresh the Q&A. So now I see also the new questions. Sorry about that. Thank you. So the next question is about, first of all, thank you for the presentation. Great product. Have you compared the accuracy of your product with MODIS, MODIS, Landsat, Sentinel, Planet, etc., based LST products?
I think I just answered that question.
Oh, sorry, guys. What is the current resolution of the product, and how is it different from the product that NASA is providing?
So the current resolution is 50 meter. And I mean, you would have to be more specific on the product that NASA is providing. If you refer to Landsat, the native resolution of Landsat is 100 meter, which is provided at 30 meter resolutions. But so with the 30 meter resolution that we will provide with our satellites, we will reach a higher resolution than that of NASA.
Okay, great. Next question is going to be, oh yeah, sorry, Toby.
Yeah, no worries. Matt, maybe you can share a few more really details, so hard tech details on the spatial resolutions of the bands and so on of our Hive resolution, so that really everyone understands the first of all the technical difference, and then we can also translate it into value propositions, really comparing what is out there in public data and what is coming from us as a private company.
Sure. So we have, as I mentioned earlier, we have band in the visible, in the near infrared, and in the long wave infrared. In the visible and in the near infrared, our band's native resolution is 5 meter. And we have the same bands as Sentinel-2, so as to provide continuity also with the services that Sentinel-2 provide, but with a higher resolution. When it comes to the long-wave infrared, which are the bands that we use to retrieve land surface temperature, we are using 4 bands from 8.6 micrometer to 11 micrometer, 11.5 micrometers. That we are then using to retrieve our land surface temperature algorithm. And those bands have a native resolution of 30 meter. Having the combination of both the thermal at 30 meter and the visible near infrared at 5 meters also enable us to provide land surface temperature products at a higher resolution using different methods of thermal sharpening, still keeping a very high accuracy thanks to the native accuracy that we have, which is 1.5 Kelvin. So even if the thermal sharpening leads to a slight degradation in the accuracy, we are still reaching an accuracy at 5 meter, which is in the like of that of the current Landsat. I see that there is also another questions about whether we combine our data with in situ data. So at the moment for the land surface temperature data, we don't combine our data with in situ data or IoT sensor. And it's not something that is planned in the near future, but it might be for other products than the land surface temperature products.
Great. As we skip one question, maybe quickly to Hassan's question. Providing thermal data with a spatial resolution of 30 meters should be quite challenging. This is because we know that the wavelength in the thermal region is very long, making it difficult to provide the necessary energy for a 30-meter resolution. How did you solve this problem? Did you use multiple sensors or multiple satellites?
Yes, indeed, it's a very big challenge, and it's a challenge that we are really happy to tackle here at Constellr. So first of all, we have really designed a sensor and a telescope that enables to capture the photons that are coming from this radiative heat to the atmosphere very accurately. And we are also we also have an onboard cooler that enables to stabilize the signal that we have from the ground. This combined with a very novel approach on cross calibration, we are able to achieve this 30-meter resolution with the accuracy that we want to achieve.
Great. And as I see, the next question would be from Alexander. Do you combine your data with, that's the one we talked about. Then the last question, actually. What would be the price per square kilometer, approximately?
Laura, thank you very much for your question. So we have a standard pricing of €4 per hectare. Yet, as you can imagine, it so much depends on the exact use case you're pursuing and on the total area you're requiring. So if a customer says, well, you know, I have a few hundred hectares on irrigation, and I want to have your data, probably we are around the €4 I started with. We are also aware that our data is super useful for, let me give you an example, slightly outside of agriculture, to predict earthquakes. So to predict earthquakes, you need very vast areas of land, and you need to measure the temperature super accurately. So here, of course, the price needs to be substantially lower. So the pricing therefore really depends on the application as well as on the total area overall you're interested in. Yet what I can share is that it's the most attractive option to enter into an early access program with us to really assure highly attractive prices for your organization already today. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Toby. Actually, there are some new questions that popped up from Andrea. What will be the swath of the satellites? Thank you.
So the swath of the satellite will be around 18 kilometers.
Perfect. Another question from Hassan. How is accuracy measured in temperature units?
So it's measured as a root mean square error of temperature over different scenarios that we have averaged to get this temperature unit value. So it's land surface temperature, root mean square error that is computed against some simulation of the temperature in different areas, taking into account all the combined errors, both from the sensor but also from the atmospheric correction and calibration.
Right. There are actually two questions from Savabek. I hope I'm spelling the name correctly. The first one is there any research publications about your product?
There is no research publication about the products. There is research publication about some part of our technology, and I invite you to reach us if you want to have access to it or to have a link to these publications.
Perfect. And the other question was, what is the historical coverage of your product?
We start providing products in 2021 at the moment, but we can also integrate earlier data with a lesser temporal coverage.
Perfect. Another question from Hassan. Are you only sharing the acquired images, or are you also interpreting the data to generate valuable insights?
So we're mainly positioning ourselves as a data provider, but we do some additional insights, such as I explained for evapotranspiration and other products related to agriculture that we are developing, and also to other verticals. So yeah, mainly data provider, but do some insights on mainly the markets that are important for us.
Okay, great. I think, Savabek, you I've asked the questions again. Is everything clear? I hope so, because they're the same questions as before. Apart from that, I think this was the final one till now. Is there anything else you want to have answered? Anybody? Well, new posts. Thanks for the answers. Thank you so much. Okay, great. If no one has anything else to say, then thank you so much for participating again. Thank you, main speakers, for doing a great job. And if you want to have any point of contact, you know how to do it. Go on the website. You can always click on that link I shared with you in the chat room as well to contact Adam or our website. And if not, we're going to follow up with a mail where the recording of this webinar will be inside and attached, and also give you some important links you can visit and have a look at our products. So thank you so much. And I will end the presentation now, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.